Oh my god, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. Dude, we just pressed the button. I promised you guys that I wasn't gonna stop this video. I'm so sorry, fat fingers. So what's going on? A little bit of a side tangent. This is still Trailer Park Boys. A little bit of a side tangent. What's happening is we have this playthrough, which is the tower, this playthrough, which is the tower, the playthrough, which is the tower, right? It's a bit nerve-wracking, but it doesn't really matter because it's a game that is super simple. Now, on days like today, right, it is even more stressful. Why? Because we have a tournament. Tournaments are bi-weekly, and they're just a way to prove that you're good, and if you do good, there are good rewards, right? And that's kind of important. So that being said, coming back to it, so Lucy comes in and she tells Ray, hey, we did it, right? And then Ricky, it's so fucking funny because this is such an intense moment. Bubble says, I'll never forgive you, Ricky, which is the biggest fuck up, which is true. But there's also this really cool moment where Ray, and this is the beauty, in my opinion, this is why Trailer Park Boys is so great, because it's fucked. So Ray's lies about being on disability, right? And again, which is really cool is we saw Ray and I'm facing this humongous problem as a content creator, and I know we're doing a lot of side tangents. I got ADHD, but with Trailer Park Boys in particular, is I know the show so well. I know every single characters. I know their storyline. So there's a fine line. We'll call it Alice in Wonderland. There's a fine line where I don't know what's I just saw and what I already know. I don't know what I just learned or what I already know, right? So with Ray, it is always implied that he's in a wheelchair. So you see him in season 2, you see him in season 1, and at some point you see Ray starting to walk, right? And it always has been implied that he's fucking the government, right? For workers' comp. And at season 5, he is a lot more involved. Barry Dunn, which is Ray LaFleur, is really a lot more involved, and that's when you really start him to say, like, yo, I'm walking, right? And that is super nice. That is super nice. For example, in this episode, there's a real proof that he's walking, and there's moment in there that is truly brilliant. I'll tell you, it's super simple. The first thing that you see is Ray becomes drunk. He gets really drunk, and he gets to walk around, right? And then Ricky's like, Dad, you're walking. People see you. They're going to report you. And nobody reports him. But then when season 5, episode 6, which is Don't Cross the Shit Line, there is this... Oh, we scratched the screen. There is this moment and where he is drunk, and then he gets up and walk. So it's like, I told you so, but I didn't tell you so, which is really good. Good. Let's come back to season 5, episode 3, 4. I don't fucking know. Let's call it 4. So it's a really huge fuck up, and Ray will said you lied to the guy in the chair. And Ray is a beautiful character. I don't know why when I was a kid I hated him, because now I really like him. Ray will use a lot of excuses, right? So for example, he's very religious, right? And I'll talk about how but Ray is religious in a really cool sense. For example, there's a moment in Good Night to the Bad Guys, which we're gonna be reviewing, don't worry, where they're eating lobster, right? And they're blessing, and then he tells Ricky you don't get to eat until you say amen. And then Ricky say fucking amen, right? Or in Good Night to the Bad Guy, no, in the Christmas special, they're fighting and said, fuck what you're doing, fuck what you have planned, we're going to church, and they go to church. So Ray has this really, he has this belief in religion, and it's a cool character because I think out of the whole thing, he possibly is the most religious guy, right? And even Ray, why I like him so much right now, and that's the craziest thing, because when I was younger, I loved J-Rock, and I don't like J-Rock anymore. Yeah. So you get to like characters and you don't like them after a while. I don't know why. But probably your perception change. is you see Ray. Ray in season 1 is the father of Ricky. He doesn't really have seat. He's just the father of Ricky, right? And the first episode when I really started liking him is the Bible Pimp, right? You guys remember season 2, episode 5? He talks to Ricky about things like, yo, Dad, can I get money? I need to take out Sarah on a date. I love her. And it's like, okay, well, if you do that, we're gonna be reading the Bible every single day. And you see what's crazy is, this is one of my favorite moments of Ray. The Bible Pimp, he said, hey, Ricky, and he's drunk. Oh, this is such a good moment, too. And I don't know if I made it justice when I talked about season 2, episode 5. That was 2 days ago, but we made 6-10 hours of content since then, so it's far in my memories. He gets drunk, and then Bible Pimp talked to him, and he said, Ricky, I bought you something, I bought you a Bible for $60. And then Ricky says, are you drunk? Because it's a lot of money, right? It's like, I had a couple. And then Ricky says, can I have $20 to, can I have $20 to take out Sarah? It's like, I don't have that kind of money. We just spent $60 for a Bible, right? So in this one, they're doing the same thing. We know that Ray will use a chair, even though it's not in a chair. Oh my God, Ray is so fucked. But again, I wouldn't see somebody normal being Ricky's father. So Ray and Ricky are actually way similar. Ray is possibly a bit more mature, a bit less fucked, but he's still as fucked. So for example, Ultra Piss Jug on the open, because that's what he used to do as a trucker. He's not a trucker, but he does it. He would use the excuse of being in a wheelchair, but he's not in a wheelchair. So he tells Ricky in this episode, he says, you lied to the guy in a chair, which is fucking phenomenal. One of my favorite moments, because at the same time, it is fuck. You lied to your father, but he's like, I'm in a chair. What are you doing, Ricky? Even though you're not in a chair. Now I kind of have to check out what happened, because the problem is I saw this episode like 2 days ago. 2 days ago. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. I know exactly what's up. So this episode is also very important lore-wise, because at first you always saw Ricky, Julian, and Bubbles, but then you see Julian, who is kind of stepping back, and so they don't do a good job explaining. Okay, they really don't do a good job at explaining. So the truth of what happened is, okay, so it's complex. So this is all, and okay, so it is implied in the Christmas special. It is implied in Don't Legalize It. It is implied in the animated series. The animated series, which came out, I think it was 15, 20 years after. Bubbles' parents left him. It was always said that Bubbles' parents abandoned him, but it wasn't true. The truth is, the father of Bubbles was an alcoholic, gambling, and he had a lot of money debts. And since Bubbles like Ricky and Julian so much, it's like, okay, well, you're safe here. Bubbles has a fucking sister, if you guys didn't know, which is crazy, because and this is fucked up. This is really fucked up. There is a promotional promotional poster for season 2, when they're seeing and I used it as a thumbnail. I didn't show the naked part, but they're using they have this porn mag, right? And it's written Chile Park Girls, and it's a porn mag, and you see Bubbles and Ricky and Julian looking at it. And the funny thing I put in is the girl, she has bubble glasses, right? So at first it's like, haha, she has bubble glasses. So it's kind of fucked, right? But then you realize that Bubble has a sister, and that could be a sister. That I really enjoy it. And again, the problem is they did that with Mike Clattenburg, but after that he wasn't involved, and that's where a lot of for example, spoiler: Ricky has another child, and they're swearing that the child disappeared. Now, the child disappearing was I don't remember why, but there was a good reason for it. So, coming back to Julian. Julian kind of stepped away from the boys, and Ricky and Bubbles like each other so much. See, Ricky and Bubbles just had a huge fight and say, hey, no, I'm so sorry, this is me fucking up. The trailer burned down, and Julian feels bad. But Julian, once again, oh my God, I'm so ADHD today. So, Bubbles and his parents abandoned him, right? He was able to live at at Julian's grandmother's house. Now, in the podcast, it is revealed that Julian isn't a drinker. His grandma was a drinker. His grandma was a huge drinker. And it wasn't necessarily the best place. So Julian would go hide at Mrs. Patterson, which we saw in season 1. But Bubble didn't have a place to go. And it's kind of crazy, because Ray kind of raised Bubble. he kind of raised Bubble. See, Bubble was half raised by Julian and his grandma, but also it's like a parent divorce. You get to see your dad, you get to see your mom. The mom was Julian grandma, and the dad was Ray. But then Bubbles was smart enough to, at a young age, to say, Ray, this is fucked. Don't fuck you, Ray. And what I really enjoy is in season 7. Well, I really enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it at all. So at season 7, I told you Barry Dunn, which is the character that the person that plays Ray as an actor, really got interested in how popular Trailer Park Boys became. And when he understood that Bubble was the most popular one, see, I think that everybody preferred Julian in season 1, and I think at a point everybody preferred Ricky. But then Bubble is a character that is Trailer Park Boys, if you guys didn't know, is a comedy, and he's the funniest character. So people often should go for Bubbles. And then when Barry Dunn realized that Bubble was the favorite of the public, he created this relationship with him, right? So was this relationship a lore-wise or a need for Barry Dunn to be popular? I don't know. I think as a kid when I learned that, I think that's why, because I don't remember why I didn't like Ray. I didn't like Ray, but when okay, let's put it like that. I told you guys that I used to watch Trailer Park Boys every single year, right? Every single year. So when you have it every single year, you don't have time to digest the information. So you watch it again, and you have the same opinion. For example, you're gonna watch. I've been listening to the audiobook of Harry Potter every single year since I was since I went to the apartment, so 20. Because it's just good, and it's just good for work because I think it's 80 hours. There are a whole week of work at time 2 to speed. So for a whole week, I don't have to worry about, hey, what's going on. For example, Lord of the Ring. I do like the movies. I like the book. I love the movies because the movies are special to me. But they're 30 hours when you put it. So when I go to work, I know that for 15 hours, which is 2 days, by the way, 2 days of 8 hours. I know that for 2 days, I don't have to worry about changing song or changing podcast. I got something from start to finish, which is good. So yeah. So with Trailer Park Boys, I didn't really take a break from that, and it's always a preconceived notion. I like him. I don't like him. I think as a kid, I liked Ray, or maybe I didn't like Ray because of my father, and we didn't have the best relationship. But then as a young adult, when I restarted watching Trailer Park Boys, again, I was in an apartment. I didn't have Wi-Fi, so I downloaded the videos. I learned about what happened with Barry Bonds and how he was kind of there for fame, right? And like, fuck that guy, right? So yeah, it was just that. But in this one, I really like Ray. So then Ricky and Bubbles, they feel bad. So Bubble feel bad. I think Ricky feels bad a little bit, but he has a secret, right? So they go out to get his whatchamacallit, to get his camper, yeah. Because Ray used to be a trucker, right? And what is really sweet here, what really sweet is, they have to rob a liquor store, and Bubble says, I don't want to rob a liquor store, and Ricky's like, I know, but we have to. And it's kind of, to me, there's really this brother. It's like those brothers that they they've been together since a young age, so they enable each other's. With Julian, I really feel like Julian is a bigger brother to Bubbles, and to Ricky sometimes, absolutely. But with Julian's, there's never a point where I'm like, oh, they're brothers. See, it's like, it's ADHD, forgive me. It's like this, and I'm not gonna say weird, I'm gonna say because it happens often. It's like this, these two siblings that have years, and I do mean years apart. And you're like, holy shit, I didn't know you were siblings. She could be your aunt, he could be your uncle, right? But they're siblings. So with Julian, it kind of feels like that. It kind of feels like, yes, they're siblings, but there's a huge disparity. With Bubbles and Ricky, they're both kind of fucked, so it's the same. So they get a camper. Now we get the first scenes, or the first instances of Julian training Corey and Trevor, which again is kind of nice because you introduce this concept in season 5, episode 1. You don't have to repeat yourself and say, hey, gonna train you, right? You're just training. And then he tells Trevor and Corey, the problem's in your head. You think that you're gonna fuck up. That's why you fuck up. But in reality, you guys wouldn't fuck up, right? You just believe it. You just believe so little in yourself that when it happens, which I really fucking love. Don't tell me, oh, I have this childhood trauma. Give me a good reason, and as long as it's reason that makes sense, I'll buy it. I'll buy it. I'll be like, you know what, makes sense. They train them, and they have this VLT, and they print ticket, and then they copy the tickets. Now, again, this is an instance of Julian copying people. So you see Ray being, and it's so fucking funny because in last episode when they burned down the trailer, Ricky, Julian, Bubbles, Corey, Trevor, they go to have a drink. So Ricky asks Julian, like, please, dude, can I please go stay with Lucy? I want to get back to her. Julian's like, okay, whatever. And then it's sweet because dude, I love this episode so much. Season 5 is underrated. My favorite episode from season 5 is Don't Cross the Shit Line. To me, this is such an emotional episode. We'll talk about it later. I get emotional. So Julian's like, yo, these machines are rigged. You'll never win money. You'll never win enough. And if you win, somebody else is lose. That's the way it works. And then he has this idea from Ray to say, hey, there's a lot of money in those machines. That's why he steal it. So then he buys an army tent, and then he buys everything. And he buys a bottle of alcohol. Now the greatest thing is we're seeing Ricky and Julian fight. And see, the best thing about Ricky and Julian is they fight a lot. They fight often, but it's always we'll get back at it. So for example, I'll tell you at the end of the video, and in the end of the episode, it is revealed that Ricky was going to burn down the trailer. Bubba was mad at him. Ray is mad at him, and Julian tells, "That's fuck, Rick. That's fucked." And you never heard Julian say that, even though he knows Ricky the best. That's kind of cool. And then they fight, and the funniest thing about the fight isn't the fight itself, isn't how fucked it is, isn't that their best friend fighting. The fight is actually quite important because it shows how bad the situation is. Where in a perfect world, these two friends have each other back, right? But now the world is so fucked that they cannot. They have to figure out something. And then they fight, and then Julian gives a bottle of rum to Ray. You know, he bought it. My apologies. Holy shit, I made a mistake. No. I'm good. It's so nice. It is so nice. Season 5 is amazing. Season 5 is amazing, not in the sense of how good it is. It's amazing because it's such a... You explore the world... Well, you explore the world of Trip Boy so much, but there's a reason for that. If you look at Season 1 is 6 episodes. This one is 10 episodes, so almost double. So then they fight, but the funny thing about the fight is that Bubble gets mad, right? And it's like, yo, please stop fighting. And then Julian's like, don't worry, who got your belly? So for Bubble, this is like an affection sign. It's like, who got your belly? Who's got your belly? And he made a song about it in Shit Rocker, which is, again, 2020, 2022. And which is really cool. And then Bubble and Ricky's like, no, I got his fucking belly. And then Julian's like, I got his fucking belly. So they even fight about that, which is really cool. And that's it for Season 5, Episode 4. Season 5, Episode 5. Jim Leahy is a drunk bastard, and it will never change. So again, a really cool moment of, and I want to picture this. I want to point this, and I never talked about it before, but Phil Collins finally gets his place. And Phil Collins is kind of cool because Phil Collins is calm, right? And the funniest thing is, so I didn't even talk about this at all, and it wasn't important. I'm not gonna say, oh dude, I forgot to talk about this, I'm such a fuck up. But still, Leahy has a problem with drinking, and Randy has a problem with cheeseburger, right? So they both go out, they both give up their addiction. And then you got, they got a more normal lifestyle, and because they got a more normal lifestyle, Phil Collins joined them. And Phil Collins, when you look at it, he's matching well with the energy of Leahy and Randy. And there's even talk in this one, which is super funny, of it's super fucking funny. so Randy's like, I didn't have a cheeseburger in days, and then Phil Collins is like, no cheeseburger, that's crazy talk. And even later, when Philadelphia Collins becomes the more important characters, you realize that he's the father of Jacob. And the crazy thing is, Jacob has been a character since season 1. Phil Collins has been a character since season 1. There was no telling that they were related, but still the fact that they're related, it's working well. And then cheeseburger, Phil Collins says to his son, have a cheeseburger. Cheeseburger has been good for me, they'll be good for you. Which is completely fucked, but I love it. Season 7, it's more memeable. It's not as good, it's memeable though. Jim Leahy's always a drunken bastard. So Jim Leahy promised people that he's drunk. Now, I'll be completely clear. Do I believe that Leahy has been sober? At one point in between season 4 and season 5, yes. Did he start the season like a drunk? No. Because if you guys remember, he went to a mental hospital, right? Where he didn't have a drop of liquor. So there is a possibility that at some point he got cured from his alcoholism. And Leahy would always blame his alcoholism and because of Ricky and because of Julian and how shitty the park is. Is it true? I don't know because Christmas episode, which is the prologue, he's already drinking, right? And the boys aren't fucking around. Funny thing about the Christmas episode is that J-Rock and Tyrone are their normal Corey and Trevor, which is crazy to me. The whole episode is about Leahy, and it's kind of cool because they subtly showed it off. They're like, dude, he calls him Bobandy, he talks about liquor, he goes to a bridge game, but he doesn't play bridge or he doesn't bring his card. There's even an episode where they go into this bar, right? And they go to this bar for the VLTs, and then they see Leahy coming out of it. Like, is he drinking because he just came out of the bar, right? Next episode, again, it's kind of fucked because we're seeing, we just had Ricky reveal, I'm behind the trailer burning down. No, wrong episode. You see, this is why I don't like doing them a couple of days after. I like doing the day off because it's so fresh. Now it's a bit far ahead in my memories, and this is when the memories of the show comes back and like, okay, well, did you just realize that about the show? Is it the review that you just did, or is it something that you remember? We gotta have how fucked it is. The trailer is still being down. You got Bubbles and Ricky making peace. Bubble forgive Ricky. And the nicest part here is he doesn't forgive Ricky because he did forgive Ricky. He forgives Ricky because the situation is so fucked that he doesn't have a choice but to forgive Ricky. They're fucked. They're completely fucked. Ray preferred. So what I didn't say is they bring his camper and Julian had the army tent. So because they had this camper, Julian used the army tent. And people will say, like, a lot of people, they say, it's kind of shitty that you give a present and now, kind of shitty that you give a present, but you take it back. And in this case, it's not shitty. It's because Julian and Ray fight so much that it's possibly better for everybody that he has this situation. Give me a sec. Okay, so we have this. We have Ray starting to drink again, which is good. But I'd rather Ray drinking than gambling. We have Leahy, and in this one, you see, that's the craziest thing. I didn't even realize it, but on a deeper note, what if Leahy started to drink? He started to drink. So the problem with Leahy is that he uses a water bottle to drink vodka, right? The problem with that is we see him with a water bottle in season 5 episode 1 and season 5 episode 2. So was it vodka or was it water? Because it could be water. It could be water. See, people that quit smoking, what they'll do is they'll have a muscle memory of smoking. People that have drinking, they'll have a muscle memory of drinking, right? Maybe him drinking water is a way. When you're hungry, what do? You eat gum because your brain will function as, oh, you're chewing on something you're about to eat, right? So yeah, so I don't know how it is. But then they push him so much that he starts drinking. And this one you see Leahy starting to talk like he's drinking, drinking. He's being aggressive to Randy, which is a sign of him drinking because he loves Randy. My favorite gay couple. Fun fact: my favorite gay couple. I don't know who it is. Is it Leahy and Randy, or is it Mike? Is it Mikey and Ian from Shameless? I don't know. I don't know. I have no clue. They're both fucked. So then you have the fighting. Nice. I love this episode. Yeah. Jim Leahy is a drunken. I would have liked more of drama here, but it's finally an episode where we get to chill. By the way, we're having some korma chip, and if you didn't ever tasted these are fucking phenomenal. These are fucking phenomenal. What a gem. So what it is kind of pretty cool in this episode is, again, and I'm going to repeat myself, but Bubble is stressed. They want him to buy him a badminton set. Now, why is that so cool? We established in season 5, episode 1, which is this season, Bubble love badminton. This is a really good way. And then it's funny because Judith doesn't play badminton. But again, it's a reason for Bubbles and Ricky to bond. Ricky goes to the Walmart and he makes prank calls on the phone, on the intercom. Bubbles is laughing. Julian isn't. So again, there's so many instances of Bubbles and Ricky being closer friend than Bubbles and Julian, which sucks because you don't want Julian to be this guy. You don't want Julian to be this guy that's the part. You want the three of them to be friends, right? Then we have this episode, Treaty starting to drive, and it's brilliant writing because you see her driving and you know it's a problem, but Ricky's like, stay in the trailer park. And I'm sorry to say, this is apples and oranges, but I have to admit, when I was young, my father would be like, hey, you can go whatever you want on your bike, but you cannot go further than Maxi, which was 6th Avenue in front of us. I was like, okay, Dad. And I could go out for hours, and he wouldn't give a shit. But he would always tell me, where did you go? And I'd say, okay, well, I didn't leave the Maxi, you know? And I didn't really like that. So, in the same case, is we're close enough to be safe. And there's something Ricky can go to the trailer, right? So we got Trinity driving. And why is that so important? Is because Trinity driving is, it's Ricky being a specific kind of father. It is Trinity being able to drive for them to have a problem at the end. And this problem at the end is actually quite sweet. Because Ricky always also go to the court, but in this court, it's just one of my favorite moments of the entire show. When Ricky goes to court, it's always about, hey, I'm lying. And hey, I'm telling the judge to fuck off. And this one, he's being himself, and I love that. I really, really do love that. I'll tell you why after. Okay, we had this again. It's not fresh in my memory, which I hate. So they go to the store, and instead of buying a badminton set, it is once again a rocket, which goes to shows that Bubble is a fan of space, which plays a huge part in the later season. A huge part. So then they steal the rockets, right? And then they get away from it. They blame Corey and Trevor, which is basic stuff that we saw all this time before. We have Leahy getting to more drinking. And this is really sweet because Randy is starting to doubt that Leahy is sober. So what he does is he gives him hypnotic tape. Then Leahy's like, I'm cured, fuck you, Randy. And then he feels bad, so he's watched the tape, and he says, this helped me. So this is Leahy lying, but Randy being a good boyfriend. So then they have the decimal. There's this famous scene where they talk about space weed. Just listen.
Hopefully you got some space weed over. How's that, buddy? I don't fucking know.
Ricky, that's not very good use. Space words, real ones, not talking about space weed.
Nice power rocket.
Julie, make him do it well.
All over the place. They got lasers there and shooting and Bobs, I can't fucking do this. My brain doesn't work with space talk. I hate playing space.
Julian.
Make him do it right.
Boys, we got a complaint that someone
hide and drunk playing space in the middle of the street.
Yeah, us.
This is so fucking good. I forgot about this moment. So they're playing space because Bubble is oh my god. So this is very specific in the next episode, so I think I'm gonna do a dual episode right here. They're playing space, and yes, they're getting drunk and high, but then they were having a good day, and Leahy stops them. Because Leahy stops them, Ray had a problem with him. So Ray and Leahy always had problems. So it isn't specified why, because Ray is fucked just like Ricky, so of course they're opposing. But then in the later season it is revealed, and it's like season 10, because Tammy, which was Ray's wife, had a thing with Leahy. You know? I think that's why. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not the best guy to talk about this. But you see Ray talking about how he ruined his day, right? And then Ray reveals that Leahy is still drinking. And the beautiful thing is, Ray reveals it. And they go back home, Ray, Leahy, and Randy. And then Randy's like, why didn't you tell me? I don't give a fuck if you drink. I hate those guys. Because Leahy lies to him and said, hey, when I'm going to be drinking, I need to be thinking like them. I need to be drunk. I need to be a criminal to think like a criminal. Let me drink when they're still here. And when I go to jail, I'll really stop. So Randy is like, okay, no problem. I'll drink with you, right? Season 5, episode 6, Don't Trust the Shit Line. This I'm not even going to look. I know it by heart. It was one of my favorite episodes because it is perfect, picture perfect Trailer Park Boys. So the boys are fucked. They don't have any money. They don't have any drinking. And once again, it sucks because where's Julian in this episode? Ray, Ricky, and Bubbles goes to do a porn flick, right? And they went to do a porn flick, and then this is called Don't Cross the Shit Line. And Don't Cross the Shit Line is something I learned from this episode. It was something that was so instrumental to my whole life as a human being, as a young adult to today. Don't Cross the Shit Line is, I don't like you, you don't like me. We can coexist as long as you don't cross the shit line. The shit line is, if you don't cross my boundaries, if you stay in your lane and I stay in mine, we can coexist. We don't have to like each other's. But the second that you're trying to fuck with me, I'll fuck with you. Another one of the concepts that they taught me, Trailer Park Boys, was shit brothers. I don't like you, you don't like me, but I know some shit about you and you know some shit about me, so we'll do peace. We can both self-destruct. And that was something cool. So they go to shoot this porn flick, and to me this is so funny because, again, it is established way early on that J-Rock is making porn flick. I would have loved, I'll be honest, I would have loved an episode per season of J-Rock filming a porno. In the later season, J-Rock doesn't even film pornos. What the fuck happened? Like I said, J-Rock, what happened to the character? I don't like the character. For example, at the end of season 8, at the end of season 7, he's like, yo, I'm not gonna be a rapper anymore. I got kids. I have to take care of my kids. And everybody's like, yo, raw full, right? But then in season 8, his kid disappeared. He's supposed to have a kid with Tyrone. And it's funny because they're saying, I don't know who's the dad. One of the kid is white, one of the kid is black. So it's really funny. And then he has his kid McFlurry, which I like McFlurry, but why tell me that he doesn't have a kid when later on the line you give him a kid, right? It doesn't make any sense. And yeah, so they film a porno, and the funniest thing is they're so hungry, and then the first thing that Ray does is gets drunk, and I have to play this scene. This is too good. I'm sorry, I have to play the scene. This is too good. See, although I think season 5 is a bit weaker compared to season 3, season 4, right? But it's just so funny. And the craziest thing about this one is Lucy and this one is gonna partake in the porn movie. So Ricky wants to stop her, but then it's a good plot because Lucy never did it. But it's a bad plot because it was a use in season 1. Like, oh, you're doing this porn flick. That's not cool. And then Ricky's is becoming Lucy and say, hey, you're doing this porn flick. That's not cool. Where is it?
Stand up, Ray. Stand up and then take it.
Oh, this is it.
Lucy, I need to talk to you.
No, that's not it.
Joel, Lucy, I heard you're gonna be in jail.
It's one of the nicest moments of the series too. For some reason, Sarah and Ricky are always fighting, and Sarah defends Lucy, and then Ricky's come in, and Sarah's like, "What the fuck do you want?" And then it's like, "Yo, I don't want the mother of my child to be in a porno." And then Sarah's like, "You're right. You're right." Oh, this is moment. This is so good. I'm not finding the moments of Ray. I don't remember where it is. Oh yeah, this is it.
Nothing wrong with a guy.
You ladies drinking, right? You wild.
No, this is so good. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to make you watch this.
Now stand up, Ray.
Yeah.
Stand up and then take a drink, Joey. So you look. That's right. Now you gotta dance. You know what I'm saying? Dance right.
Got pimples. Holy shit.
Cut. Bubbles.
You see me get them shits off kind of neat, but I need to see some ass slapping, you know what I mean?
J-Rock's making his little grace film here, and he thought it's appropriate for me to just start slapping that lady on the bum, but I'm not comfortable doing that, to tell you the truth. And I don't even know her. I can't just walk up and start slapping her, but J-Rock's previous works that I was in, I mean, I was playing a different character. Corporal Alexi, I played in From Russia with the Love Bone, played a lumberjack in the Bear Pimp Project, but now I'm just being myself. I mean, I don't want to be known as the guy that just walks up and slaps some dogs. Hey, you down with feet? Me too, B.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Dude, what? B, you wrong? You ladies is drinking, right? You wild, right? You drinking, you dancing all over.
This is so good, too.
You know what I'm saying? You can't stand how wild them bubbles is, alright, Bubbles? You know what I'm saying? Introduce yourself, blow some bubbles, it's gonna be
Some
tight.
hot dogs, right, J-Rock?
Yeah, that's right. Got all kinds of food for you, motherfucker. This seems really important. We gotta get it first, you know what I mean?
Okay, for
Alright.
cheeseburger.
All right.
Oh no, this is the moment. This is the best moment ever.
First girl's gone wild. Keeping it real. Keeping the bubbles going. Yeah.
Man, cut, Ray. Truck driving, passed out Phantom 309, motherfucker.
Nothing wrong with a guy having a few drinks, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Mingling with the people and shit. But the guy had a whole fucking court to himself. He got smashed. He's fucked up out of his mind. Wailing through shots backwards, fucking everything up, man. He doesn't even know how much we spent on all this equipment to get shit rolling right, man. It ain't right.
It ain't tight. This is so good. So yeah, this is so good because although season 5 episode 5 and season 5 episode 6 are not related, when Ray told everybody that Leahy was drinking, he crossed the shit line. So Leahy, as a revenge, wants to cross the shit line. So they do a porno because they're so hungry, and J-Rock has been slanging groceries. Now, why is that cool? Is because you told me before. They've been slanging groceries since the beginning of season 5, all through season 5. The fact that they have food is normal. Ray wants some alcohol, Bubble wants some food, so he has the porno flick, which would be cool if it wasn't for the fact that we saw it often. Now, the craziest thing is, Leahy goes after Ray, then he goes to the house of J-Rock and T, and he finds all of the grocery bag. I think this is the proof that they stole grocery bag. Like fuck, right? And then he's gonna snitch on them. The police come. They arrest Ray because they take away the porn tape, which again would be good if you didn't do that in season 1. You did that in season 1, dude. You had the porn tape, and then they arrest Ray, and then Ray goes to jail, which is a big part of the season because Ray doesn't go to jail. Ray doesn't go to jail. Ricky kind of go to jail. June goes to jail. No problem. Ray doesn't go to jail, right? But he gets to jail because he fucked over. And that's pretty much it. So we have the cops, and when Ricky wants to get involved, the cops go in and say, "Hey, you want us to investigate your daughter for drinking and driving around the park?" That's not cool, right? Where's the? I think it's next episode. Yeah. So just Ray going to the park, and that's pretty much it. Goes to jail. Pretty much it. Season 5, episode 7, Winter Shit. Now, again, Winter Shit is so amazing because we have those shit analogy. So, a lot of people like Ricky because of Rickyism. Rickyism is Ricky being fucked and wanting to say things in the right way. They said him in a Ricky way. The shitism, the shit analogy, there's even a shit dictionary. So, when the show was out, most of the cast also talking about Ricky, Bubbles, and Julian, but also Leahy and Randy. They start doing tours, right? And to make some money, Leahy released a shit dictionary. So I want to have it. I don't have it. And it's just, I should buy that. It should be cool. That's like a good idea to buy, actually. That's a good idea to buy, and we could read it together. Oh. Ding. That's what I like making content. I could buy that. That could be cool. Wind is shit. The wind is shit is, once again, it's Leahy talking about shit and the shits of wind. The thing is, the more drunk you get, the more you talk about shit. And then Bubble start to believe it so much that Ricky start to believe it. So we have Ricky saying, hey, we need to sell the... we got Julian saying we need to sell the hash, and we really need to sell it. I think it's the court. Oh yeah, so Julian says we need to sell the hash, and it's like, what did we ever made more money at school? So then he wants Ricky, and again, this is Ricky, this is Julian, and I have to say, I don't know, I have no clue, because there's moments where I think that Julian's doing something nice, but he's doing it for himself, and there's time where I think he's doing it for himself, but he's doing it to be nice. So he tells Ricky, you have to go back to school. And then Ricky doesn't want to. But then he's like, yo, Ricky, you could get your grade 11. So we're like, oh, well. And then, I don't know. I want to say that Julian was doing this to help Ricky, but it was possibly just Julian wanting to make money. Which is cool, because the problem with the boys is they don't need money. Bubbles live for rent-free, just had to buy food for his kitty. Ricky lives in his fucking car, once again. Julian is the only one that needs money or that makes money. The boys could go one winter. It's and he talked about it in a podcast, which is really good. Talks about, I'm like this ant, right? And I get food and I get food and I get food. And these two are like fucking, so it's a fable. They're like the grasshopper, and they're singing. And when winter comes, they come and see me and say, hey, Julian, we need food. That's why he's worried about money. And I get that. I 100% get that. So what they're doing is really fucking cool, right? So season 5, episode 7 is when we start getting back into the thing. So for example, Leahy bought the trailer from Julian as a temporary, which is cool, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna sell it for you, right? And now Julian is tired of living in a tent. He's cramped up, which is super important. The main motivation behind making money in this one is Julian is tired of living in a tent. So it's like, we need to make money. I can buy my trailer back from Leahy. And Leahy is constantly pushing Julian, saying the price is rising. Now, so the original thought behind this is Julian needs to commit crime to get the money. And when he commits a crime to make that money, that's when we can frame him. Julian will basically come in and say, hey, Leahy, I got the money. See, we're finally getting some sun, which is good. We had, I think it's 5 days of fucking shitty fucking weather. Julian will almost come immediately and say, hey, here's the money. So all Leahy has to do is, what crime was just commit? Maybe the boys are involved. He gets Ricky to enroll. Then Ricky, what happened is, again, this is why season 5 is so special. Ricky goes to school and he's like, oh, yo, I want to be a student. And say, no, you're old enough to be a janitor. So he becomes a janitor. So the plan is, the janitor, he has a code of he has a key to the school. All he has to do is, I'm going to go in, and if you're good, I'll take care of you. If you're good, I'll put in some ash in your locker, right? That's how they sell the drugs. And then he gets the money. So the money, and the craziest thing is, he tells Ricky, and this is why I love Trailer Park Boys so much. He tells Ricky, hey, I'm gonna be using that money to get Ray out, right? He has no intention for getting Ray out, but still. And then Ricky becomes the janitor, but then he tells people, hey, I'm going to school. He tells everybody in the park, I'm going to school, right? And what is kind of crazy is, this season started with a lie. When Ricky burned down the trailer, he was lying. But now that he's going to school, he's also lying. However, they see this lie, it's like, yo, this is a good lie, right? A noble lie. So they go in, they start selling some ash to the students. It works really well. And even then, when they go to school that night, Ricky doesn't tell Julian Bubbles. That's how much he's embarrassed. And he's like, yo, whatchamacallit? I'm a janitor to the cops, right? So it's kind of revealed, but not revealed. It's just important that Ricky is ashamed of it. Enough to not talk about it with Julian and Bubbles. We got Ray, who's in prison, but now the situation is getting worse because what happened is Cyrus, Terry, and Dennis are also in jail. So they're targeting Ray. Now the good thing is, in last episode, J-Rock and Tyrone were already arrested. So there's a trailer park kind of rules. You have to protect your own. So J-Rock Tyrone and Ray are helping each other out, which I love. There's also the part. There's a really cool part with Bubbles and Leahy here. Bubbles and Leahy, I talked about it 100 times before. 100 times before I talked about it, and they're like, dude, they have this weird relationship. So Leahy comes in and tells Bubble, "What are you doing?" And then Bubbles like, "Listen, I know I'm stealing the groceries, but I need it to feed myself. Look, I'll sell it to you for $12." And again, I talked about this yesterday. It's not a case of Bubble is making crime to commit crime. It's Bubble need to do crime to survive. So Leahy understands that. He's like, okay, well, I'll buy you a tub of price. I'll buy you a tub because it's a good price. $12 for a lot of groceries, that's a good price. And I want you guys to listen to the moment because it's actually quite nice. It's actually quite nice. I'm not going to do the whole thing. But I'll just play the part that I love. Okay, was that it? I don't think it is. No, that's not it. No, so Leahy is carrying Bubbles, and then they go to school to sell the hash, and then some event happened, and he's talking about a winds of shit, and because he's talking about the winds of shit, it's just nice because he's scared Bubbles, and because he's scared Bubbles, something happened to say, oh, is Leahy right? And then that's when Julian comes in and said, no, he's fucked in the head, guys, you know that. So good episode. It's not the most interesting episode. It's just, you know, the most important part is they're using the money to buy Julian trailer back. And to be honest, this episode in itself is not important, but the simple fact that Julian buys the trailer back is important because it's starting to win the shit. So the cool thing is, you could say, and you would be absolutely right to say, the win the shit is not what happened in the school. The wins the shit is that Julian buys his trailer, betrays Ricky and Bubbles, which leads to a tornado. So the wins the shit, in simpler term, would be your butterfly effect. A little butterfly flaps its wing and creates a tornado. Leahy wants to sell the trailer, which pushes Julian to make crime, which pushes Julian to betray Ricky and Bubbles, which pushes them to have a fight, which pushes them to release Cyrus, Terry, and Dennis to come and kill the boys. And because they're divided, they can't work together, and then they end up losing because they were all of them. Ricky, Bubbles, and Julian together are stronger than Terry, Dennis, and fucking Cyrus. Julian on his own is not stronger. Bubbles on his own is not stronger. Ricky on his own is not stronger. So this is the point. Divide to conquer. Trailer Park Boys, Season 5, Episode 8, Dress All Over Zesty Mordant. I don't remember what he called it like that. So Julian lies to Ricky and he says, hey, he's okay in prison. He wants to, Julian tells Ricky, your father is following a get out of gambling, what should I call it? Get out of gambling. I'm so sorry. See, this episode I watched and I don't even remember, but I know it by heart. So basically, they almost get cut out of school. So then Bubbles goes in and steals some carts because they're gonna want to use the handle to hide hash in, which is a brilliant plan. Julian buys the trailer. We're seeing more of Ray in prison. Julian tells Ricky that his father is in prison, but following a course to stop drinking, right? And because he started drinking, he wants to stay there. We see Leahy drinking more and more and more and more. So the thing with Leahy is he has a quart of alcohol for every single name. So when J-Rock went to jail, he drank a bottle. When Tyrone went to jail, he drank a bottle. When Ray went out of jail, he drank a bottle. So now he's really drunk, and now we're going crazy, right? Which you see with him talking to Bubbles about the winds of shit and stuff like that. But even then, it's actually quite nice because what happened is, when there is a shootout, because there's a shootout at the end of the season, Ray tells everybody in the park, Leahy tells everybody in the park, leave, there's gonna be a shootout. That's actually he really cares. So what is that?
Nice, buddy, spend some cash, man. Who cares? Here, grab a bottle. How are we supposed to get your dad if you keep spending money, huh? There's a whole driveway full of house. They're gonna have lots of money. Rick, we don't have the money yet, all right?
Ricky once again spends money before we have it. Okay. Oh yeah, this is really cool episode. There's this really cool episode, part of the episode where he goes to the car. Bubbles goes to steal a cart, and then fucking Gary, which is the mall cop supervisor. The cool thing with Gary is it's not only part of the show, but even in season 10, when they go to Julian goes to get a job as security in a mall, and Gary's still there. I do like that. So then he tells Gary, "You want to scare my friend? I'll scare you. You're gonna give Bubble his cart, and you're gonna be nice to him with a gun." Well, that's kind of cool. Yeah. So nothing super important. Did we get the court or not yet? Because the court is actually a cool moment. But I don't remember who the court is. Okay, so I guess I'll talk about the court. Where is the court? The court. I am the liquor. Is that it? Oh yeah, there it is. So Trinity. Okay, so cool. I fucked up. So Trinity, I told you guys about how she was caught for drinking and driving. This happened in this episode. So we established that she was driving the car. We established that she was driving around park. But then she get caught with a bottle of liquor, and then she get arrested. This is in this episode. So the court coming soon. One of my favorite moments of season 5. I'm gonna have to go, guys. We're at 51 minutes and I got 24% batteries. Fuck you. I hate this. Let's kind of hurry up. We'll kind of hurry up. I'll possibly will have enough battery. I won't have enough time. So yeah, it's not super interesting. They're just spending time with each other. Bubble steal the cart. We have a plan to put the ash in the cart handle. Where am I missing? Ricky worked with Julian, Bubble, Tori. What?
What did you just say to me?
Oh, okay, so they're trying to sell the hash. So, there's a really cool part where Trevor and Corey are more trusted and they're giving more importance. So there's a part where Ricky makes a mistake in this order and Trevor's able to say, "You fucked up." And it's a big part for Corey and Trevor because Corey and Trevor always been scared of Ricky. So it's a big part in him and them evolving. And the more they evolve, the more relatable, the more reliable they become. The more reliable they become, the more we use them, right? Kind of cool. The whole thing is funny because he cheats them like dog. For example, he tells Corey Trevor, "Here, Corey Trevor," and then Bubbles like, "Yo, this is kind of sad, right?" Or there's even this moment where Julian tells Corey Trevor, "Sit," and they sit down. It's really cool. It's sad for the characters, but then again, it's part of the show. It's not real life. Apparently, it was real life though. That's why Corey and Trevor left. Corey came back, but not Trevor. I feel like I'm forgetting so much stuff. So yeah, so it's just order. It's just making. So season 5, episode 8 is just. I wish I watched this episode today. Fuck. I don't have the time. Fuck. It's just about normal life. They're starting to sell the hash. They want to sell the hash. We got Ricky coming back to Trinity and her mom, and then him. See, this is why Lucy and Ricky work so well. She understands why Ricky lets her daughter go around the park with a car. She doesn't mind, right? So this is cool. Otherwise, what's here also? Trinity gets arrested, which makes them freak out. Leahy see Ricky working on the pavement. It's like, yo, there's a reason for that, right? There is a reason for that. And so they start to question the pavement. They want to arrest Trinity, and it's funny because Leahy and Randy fight Bubbles and Julian. Randy takes his pants off, and that's why you get this. Is that in this one? So it's a pretty boring episode, but there's some moments that are kind of cool.
Randy. Come on, Ricky. Watch out, Ricky. His pants are off. Pants are off. Come on, Ricky. Come on. Give me a little crap. Give me a little crap right there. I'll free one.
Is that it?
Give him one. Come on, Rick. Come on, Ricky. Come on.
No, nothing. Season 5, episode 9. See, I wish I watched it. I'm sorry I'm annoying, but it's true. I'm gonna stop the video here, and I'll have to restart because at 20%, we have 2 episodes left, we're good.